to support programming on Coyote News. The spot, Winnie Mays, providing salon and spa services for men, women, and children.
Coming up on Coyote News, we'll tell you what to think about before adopting a pet.
Also, a Vermilion clothing store goes to tailgate. Coyote News starts right now.
Live from the Al Newharth Media Center, this is Coyote News.
Hello, I'm Cassie Cornell.
And I'm Nathan Finster. We'll get to those stories and more, but first...
The NCAACP is warning African Americans to be careful when they fly with American Airlines. The organization says that it's noticed a pattern of disturbing incidents involving American Airlines reported by African American passengers. The organization referenced 4 examples of black passengers who claimed to be forced to give up their seats or were removed from planes. Jeff Glor is the next anchor of the CBS Evening News. The network announced his appointment this morning, saying that he'll take over later this year. Glor has been with CBS News for over 10 years. The announcement caps a transition process that started in June. Amazon's announced that it has a safe way for you to allow delivery drivers inside your home, even when you aren't there. The service is called Amazon Key, and customers can buy a kit that includes an Amazon security camera and a compatible smart lock. Amazon Key is set to launch November 8th for Prime members. And those are your headlines. And now let's take a look at weather with Devin Martin. Devin?
Thanks, Cassidy. Well, everyone, I never thought I'd be saying this in October, but you could expect snow in the forecast this week. For the remainder of today, you could expect mostly clear skies with a low reaching 41, with some south-southwest winds reaching 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tomorrow, expect the snow that I mentioned. The day will start partly sunny with a high of 56. However, winds will be at a gust around 45 miles per hour, leaving a 20% chance of snow Thursday night with a low around 30. And Friday will bring a 50% chance of snow with a high reaching 38 and a low around 24. Winds will also be breezy with a north-northwest wind around 25 miles per hour with gusts as high as 35 miles per hour. So make sure to get out and enjoy the weather tonight because it will be changing Thursday as we go into colder temperatures on Friday. And also for your weekend, there will be no snow in the forecast as highs will be in the middle 40s. So there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And for your weather fun fact this week, there are numerous low pressure zones approaching our area next week. So be prepared for more potential snow and rain. And that's your Coyote weather.
If you're going to the usual student tailgate Saturday, you might not find it. Following some concerns about after the D-Days game, a task force was created to make changes to tailgating. In an email sent out to students yesterday, the university announced that the student tailgate location is being moved. It'll now be on the lawn south of the Sanford Coyote Sports Center, and students will enter from the east. Students will then enter the game through the west entrance of the dome. Trucks will be allowed at the tailgate, but only 1 vehicle is allowed per space. To reserve one of the 30 spots, students can email Doug Wagner. Coming up, we show you how one Vermilion location is providing some Halloween spirit.
Behind the block.
Everything goes silent.
It's just you and the water.
And just wait for the beep.
is Coyote News.
Corn mazes and pumpkin patches are a memorable part of October and the Halloween season. Ufford Hills Farm outside of Vermilion is just one place to visit and experience the Halloween spirit.
We also have a pumpkin patch in the fall, we have a corn maze in the fall, and we have a haunted corn maze here in the fall too, with hay rides and petting zoo with chickens and ducks and goats.
Ufford says more than 700 visitors have walked through the corn maze this year.
When I came along, it was my suggestion to haunt the corn maze, and so now that is what we've been doing for the past few years, and it's been quite fun, great learning experience, and so we have a blast this time of the year.
Another fall attraction, Pi Beta Phi and Lambda Chi Alpha's haunted house, starts tonight and continues tomorrow.
Students have a little more peace of mind with newly implemented security measures in campus parking lots. Due to an influx of car robberies and vandalism in recent years, university police have taken extra measures to prevent future incidents.
We utilize several different types of vehicles that we do patrols through the parking lot with, both being a ranger and a car. We also have bike patrol officers that are out and about at all times, and we do foot patrols. The university itself also has several cameras that are implemented into each parking lot, and those are monitored 24 hours a day.
Sangster says there have been no robberies reported to UPD so far this year. If you have any concerns, you can contact University Police.
While it's impossible to know how many feral cats are in Vermilion, the high population of felines has become affectionately known as verm cats. These homeless animals are an example of why Area Humane Society officials want students to think before they adopt. The Sioux Falls Area Humane Society has on average 350 to 450 animals every day ready for adoption. But before college students rush to their local shelters, officials say they need to think.
Depending on the age of the animal, you could be making a 10 to 20 year commitment. Cats can certainly live to be 18, 19, 20 years old. If you get that as a kitten, you know, you're 20 now, you're going to be 40 by the time that animal passes away.
It's not just the time commitment. Adoption counselor CJ Bird says that pets cost a lot of money.
Financially, animals are not cheap. You know, they leave here and you pay the adoption fees, which aren't bad, but then you have the rest of their life to think about for medical bills and food and just toys and treats on top of that.
Bird says that the unpredictability of college and future plans could cause you to have a pet that you can't take care of. And bringing back an animal can prevent you from getting one in the future. In Sioux Falls, they put it on your record. What would be your advice for a college student wanting to get a pet?
Without trying to sound harsh, it's wait.
While Humane Society officials say adopting a pet during college is not recommended, volunteering can be another way to help these animals.
We always need more help.
Students can volunteer to help in the shelter or even foster an animal.
That's a great way to help out. We always need fosters, and you're taking on a temporary commitment rather than the long term.
And by thinking about the long term, you're not only saving yourself a potential headache, but also ensuring animals get to a forever home. The Sioux Falls Area Humane Society has an application to volunteer on their website. Bird says they also need donations of Purina kitten and cat chow.
Sexually transmitted disease or infection rates have been on the rise across the nation, and South Dakota is no exception. The Rushmore State ranks 21st in the nation when it comes to chlamydia and gonorrhea rates. Amanda Duxbury, a family medicine physician at Sanford, said there are a number of factors that contribute to the ranking.
If you look at the map of where the rates are the highest, it's in our urban areas, so Sioux Falls, Rapid City, and then also we have certain special populations in our state that don't get as much care, so they're kind of underserved.
Duxbury says populations include Native Americans living on reservations with inadequate health care. College students also contribute to the high STD rates, and Sanford offers students testing for a reduced price. Students can also take advantage of offerings on campus, such as free condoms in North Complex. You can talk with your doctor if you have any concerns about STDs. For the past few weeks, we've taken a deeper look into the GAF increase. We show you the next chapter after the break.
This is Coyote News.
Veteran journalist Tom Brokaw and Russian policy expert Robert Legvold came to campus last week and brought quite the following. Hosted by the Department of Political Science in Alf's Auditorium, students and faculty alike came to listen to expert opinions on politics in the United States and Russia.
Tom Brokaw was someone I watched on TV as a child. I remember watching him on the day that the Berlin Wall fell. So having the opportunity to meet him and share the stage with him was just a real privilege.
Both being USD alumni, they were quite willing to talk to students in a Q&A segment during the forum. Check out the USD calendar for upcoming events on campus.
Students may be familiar with the Charlie's store downtown, but Delta Sigma Pi, a business fraternity, takes Charlie's out of the store into the dome. Members take inventory before each home football game and decide what merchandise to offer.
We essentially run their merchandise trailer here on game days at the tailgate. So we go ahead and pull the inventory, we count the inventory, and then we go ahead and set up the trailer and sell everything for them on game days.
The Charlie's trailer can double and even triple sales on big game days such as D-Days. Delta Sigma Pi is now preparing for the USD versus SDSU game coming up on November 18th.
We're less than a week away from the Macklemore concert. Coyote News' Nick Nelson is live in the muck with Maddie Hermes from CAB to talk about how they're preparing. Nick?
Thanks, Cassidy. This will be the first concert sponsored by CAB since T-Pain last spring. Thanks for being with us today, Maddie. So, tell us about the preparations going into next week. Is everything going smoothly?
Yeah, myself and the other co-overall have been meeting with our advisors, and the advisors have been meeting with other facilities and security, and everything seems to be all in line. We're ready to go. We're really excited.
Now, in concerts previously, there had been contests with voting by students to see who would perform, and this year, notoriously, that did not happen. Is that something that's going to happen often in the future, or will we go back to the voting process?
So yes, in the past there has been a voting process when there was a spring concert. This being a fall concert, we were presented with a great opportunity to bring a super huge artist, and we just couldn't pass up the opportunity to bring him here, and so there wasn't enough time to have a voting process. If whenever possible, we're always going to try to get the students' opinion with the voting process. So.
And this concert will take place on Halloween night, of course. So, are students encouraged to wear costumes, or are they, or the opposite?
Students are free to wear costumes if they would like. We have a policy of no weapons, real or fake, that can come in. Also, any face coverings, if it's masks or face paint of any kind, is not going to be allowed.
Thank you, Maddie.
Yeah.
Well, Macklemore stage next Tuesday night on Halloween night at 8 o'clock. Live in the muck for Coyote News, I'm Nick Nelson.
Thanks, Nick. This week, Coyote News' Whitney Fowkes is continuing her three-part series on GAF funding. In part 2, she delves deeper into who receives the funds.
The GAF is a fee students pay every semester here at USD. SGA Vice President Josh Anderson says the funds go towards things that increase student experience.
Okay, so the GAF fee is a fee that's charged by the university to fund different things like co-curricular activities. So things like student involvement, student engagement at sporting events, so things like Coyote Crazies is something that it goes towards. And then also funding the bonds or the debt on the certain buildings at the university, so the Wellness Center, the MUC that we're in now, and then the Dakota Dome as well.
There was an open forum last year to discuss where the general activity fee increase would go. The athletic department was granted the excess money. SGA President Tegan McNary says the funds aren't spent on just a single team.
To note that it's not just the football team or the basketball team or the swim team. That increase of about $600,000 is spread out between all the different athletic teams that we have on campus.
In a year, a full-time student pays about $1,600 for the GAF. The funds generated are distributed to numerous departments.
The GAF, or general activity fee, also goes towards funding for student health, athletics, fine arts. The Center for Diversity and Community also received a large amount of funding from the general activity fee, so just various departments on campus like that.
For the Yote Report, I'm Whitney Fowkes.
This week we'll hear from the USD's Chief Financial Officer about where the GAF increases are going.
Well, Devin, the football team couldn't quite add to the win column this weekend.
No, they did come up just short, but we do have highlights of that game, and we have a story on how the men's basketball team's preparing for their season. That and more next in sports.
This is Coyote News.
Tonight on Coyote Sports, the football team suffers their first loss of the season, and we have a story previewing the men's basketball season. But first, the headlines with Devin Martin. Devin?
The Los Angeles Dodgers defeated the Houston Astros 3-1 in Game 1 of the World Series last night. Clayton Kershaw had 11 strikeouts to lead the Dodgers. Game 2 is tonight with ALCS MVP Justin Verlander pitching for the Astros and Rich Hill pitching for the Dodgers. 43-year-old and former Tampa Bay and the Buccaneers defensive end Simeon Rice says he wants to come back and play in the NFL. He hasn't played since 2007, and he tweeted that he is serious about a comeback if the Bucs would have him in. And lastly, former Colts pass rusher Robert Mathis was arrested Tuesday morning and was charged with a DUI. Mathis was driving the wrong way on a one-way street when he was stopped. His blood alcohol content was under the legal limit at the time of his arrest. However, the arresting officer believed Mathis was too impaired to drive after a number of sobriety tests. And those are your headlines.
Thanks, Devin. Well, it turns out that the USD football team is in fact beatable. The Coyotes went into Saturday's game 6-0, but they ran into 24th ranked Illinois State. USD would find themselves in an unusual position, down 14-0 after one quarter, but the high-powered Yote offense would get going as Chris Strevler, under pressure, lobs one up for Brett Sampson, who makes the grab, and he goes 50 yards for a TD, cutting the deficit to 14-7. Later in the second, Strevler rolls out right here, and he will find Aaron Ramsey for the short 2-yard TD, and it's a tie ball game. USD would be down 10 heading into the fourth quarter until Kai Henry takes the handoff, runs right through the Redbird defense, points, and his 12-yard burst brings the Coyotes within 3. But after a failed fourth down attempt inside the Illinois State 10-yard line, James Robinson puts the icing on the cake for the Redbirds as he breaks loose for an 87-yard TD scamper, and Illinois State goes on to beat USD 37-21, ending the Coyotes' hopes of an undefeated season. The loss drops USD to number 7 in the FCS coaches poll. They return home this Saturday where they'll take on Southern Illinois. The men's basketball team will have a busy season packed with both new competitors and old. Coyote News' Taylor Kidd shares how the team is prepping for the upcoming season.
USD's men's basketball team impressed fans last year with their 13-1 win-loss record at home. Now they're back in action with in-season practices and a competitive season schedule. The team will play against new teams like UCLA and Duke.
This season our coaches did a great job getting us a good schedule. We have Duke and UCLA. I mean, obviously those are top programs right there. So I'm really excited to go in there and play in those atmospheres.
But the crowd favorite matchup against South Dakota State was not forgotten. And junior forward Logan Powers says the team is excited to face the rival school.
The game I'm most looking forward to is playing South Dakota State. We played three great games with them last year, but we came out on the losing end 2 of them, and so we owe them a couple.
With such a competitive schedule, the team is likely to face some challenges. However, the team attributes chemistry to their success.
At USD, being on a team here is unlike any team I've ever been on in terms of the chemistry. So it's really unique in that way, and I think that really translates onto the court and makes us a better group that way. And in terms of just continuity and playing together, I think that really helps us out.
The team hopes its bond will drive them to wins and help them achieve their season goal, making the NCAA tournament.
First and foremost is making the NCAA tournament, just doing something that's never been done here at USD. We believe we have the team to do it, and now it's just a matter of going out and making it happen.
For Coyote Sports, I'm Taylor Kidd.
The Yotes will play their first official game against the University of Sioux Falls on November 4th. Coyote News' Lauren Solik is live in the muck with cheerleader Alexis Jacobs to talk about the upcoming tryouts for basketball season. Lauren?
Thanks, Devin. So Alexis, how did you get involved with cheer?
Well, I've done cheer throughout my high school years, and so I saw the tryouts on online somewhere, and I decided I wanted to try out, so I came up to South Dakota, and it was a success.
And so how is college cheer different from high school cheer?
College cheer is a lot different. We do a lot more intensive stunts and skills. You try a lot more new things, and it's a lot of fun.
And so do you have any advice for students who might be interested in trying out for basketball cheer?
Yeah, definitely. Just be yourself. Don't be intimidated, because we all are very welcoming, and we want a better and more able squad. So please come out, and it's fun, and be confident.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Alexis and the rest of the USD cheerleaders will be spreading school spirit at the football game on Saturday. Live for the Muck from Coyote News, I'm Lauren Solik.
Thanks, Lauren.
Awesome.
The women's volleyball team moved to 7-2 in Summit League play with a pair of sweeps over the weekend. Friday night, the Yotes defeated Western Illinois in dominant fashion, 25-11, 25-17, and 25-18. Haley Dotseth recorded her 10th double-double of the season with 13 kills and 13 digs. Ann Rasmussen led the Coyote defense with 26 digs. The Coyotes kept the momentum going into Sunday as they beat NDSU in a competitive match, 25-23, 27-25, and 26-24. Dotseth once again led the Coyote attack with 8 kills. Defensively, 3 Coyotes finished with double-digit digs. Rasmussen has been named the Summit League Defensive Player of the Week for the 4th time this season. She is currently 2nd in the conference in digs per set and total digs. The Coyotes return home for a battle with Fort Wayne Friday night. The soccer team won their last home game of the season, defeating Western Illinois 1-0 on Senior Day. Kelly Willer scored USD's lone goal, which proved to be the winner in the 68th minute. The Coyotes outshot the Leathernecks 16-11 with 7 on goal. Goalkeeper Sydney Harden stopped all 5 shots on goal from Western Illinois. The Coyotes moved to 2-3 in Summit League action. They travel to Brookings for a showdown series matchup with SDSU tomorrow night. Former USD hoopster Trey Burnett was drafted 92nd overall by the Sioux Falls Skyforce in this year's NBA G League draft. The G League, formerly known as the D League, is the NBA's developmental system. Burnett's new team, the Skyforce, are Miami Heat's affiliate. You can catch the former USD star in action when the team tips off their season November 4th. That's a look at sports. Coming up after the break, we asked students about the movies that scared them as kids. Their answers are next.
Greetings. Welcome to the CDC, the Center for Community and Diversity, where diversity and community meets the University of South Dakota Mission.
We really cater to empowering and enriching the students' lives to ensure that they can obtain the quintessential tools to be able to navigate society.
Climbing's awesome because it's challenging, both mentally and physically.
You gotta love climbing because even when you're not climbing, you get a great view.
Climbing's great because I feel like Spider-Man.
Climbing is great, because even my nerd friends can do it.
Climbing's awesome because there's always someone who has your back.
Come to the rock wall and figure out why climbing's awesome for you.
This is Coyote News.
Halloween's next week, and the horror movie season's going strong. In this week's Out and About, we asked students what movies traumatized them as a kid.
The Grinch.
Dr. Giggles. I don't know if you need to know about it, but Dr. Giggles was terrifying. This guy cut himself out of his mother, and it was super creepy.
It with the clown, I don't know, 1990 version. Yeah, I was scared of that clown.
It, the old version.
Not the whole movie really traumatized me, but just the one scene, and it was the scene in Willy Wonka where they're in the boat.
I think Star Wars did, honestly. I didn't like Star Wars. I found Yoda very creepy.
The Mummy, or at least it had a mummy in it, and I remember we were watching it up at the cabin, and it just really disturbed me.
So I'm gonna say Coraline. It's
The Ring.
Oh, Coraline.
Definitely Lion King.
Definitely Beauty and the Beast, because the Beast was pretty freaky, and I thought it was weird that she was all in love with him.
I'd probably have to say Oculus.
All of them.
Pick up a new issue of The Valon out today, featuring a story on the hashtag #MeToo campaign and its effect at USD.
That's all for Coyote News. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
And be sure to listen for KYOT and KAOR Coyote Radio daily updates throughout the week.
Thank you, and have a great night.